Hey guys, this is Neha from WebStack. So, welcome on board in learning Java basics. So, in this video, we are going to learn about what is Java, what are the features of it, and what do we mean by JVM, JDK, JRE, which is one of the really important topics, and also the applications of Java. So stay tuned till the end of the video as we are going to learn a lot and let's get started. Starting the video, if you are new to the channel, don't forget to subscribe to WebStack and hit the bell to get all the notifications. So let's see what is Java. So Java is a technology which is called as a programming language as well as a platform. So Java is a programming language like any other language as we have C, C++, and it is called platform because Java can be executed on any device. It's just that you need to install a runtime environment for executing this program, and Java provides its own runtime environment, and that is why we call Java as a platform as well. So Java is both a programming language as well as a platform. So let's check out about some background information of Java. So Java is a high-level programming language and it executes variety of functions inside it. So we will be going through the features in some time, so just wait for it. And the next thing is it is developed by Sun Microsystems in 1995, which is actually now acquired by Oracle. And James Gosling was the person who actually initiated this Java. So he's also called the father of Java. And earlier, this Java was also known as Oak, but this name was already registered with some companies, so they changed it to Java. And it works on a very good notion that is called write once, run anywhere. That simply means that you need to write the Java program once, whether it is in Windows or in Mac, and then you can actually run it anywhere, be it Linux, Mac, Windows, or mobile applications, anywhere. So, isn't that amazing? You have to write once and run it anywhere. And the latest version that you need to remember is that it is Java SE 15. And SE simply means Standard Edition. So Java Standard Edition is 15, which is the latest version. Now let's see what is actually a Java platform. So it is actually an environment on which any software runs that is called a platform. And with the Java platform, we have execution engines, compilers, and various libraries which actually help the Java program to get executed. And also we have that engine that is called Java Virtual Machine, which we are going to learn in some time in this video. Now there are different kind of platforms that Java supports. So we have Java EE, that is Enterprise Edition. Then we have Java SE, which is a standard edition. Then we have J2ME, which is actually the mobile edition. And then we have Java FX. So let's go through them one by one and see what are these platforms used for. So basically we use three types of Java platforms a lot, that is Java SE, Java EE and Java ME. So SE generally, as I have told you, it stands for Standard Edition and it is mainly used for the desktop applications, whereas Internet applications or the web applications that we talk about is created on this platform, that is Java Enterprise Edition. So it is actually the huge applications and large network applications are being built using this Java EE platform. And the third one is that is mobile edition, which is actually used to create the mobile applications. So whatever mobile applications you are creating can be executed on that platform, that is Java ME. And there is one more platform that is called Java FX. So this is something which is used to create the rich internet applications, and we also call it as RIA, which simply means that it combines various graphical user interfaces also, and it's like really powerful. Like one of the examples of rich internet applications is YouTube. As we all know, this is having a high content and really very high performance. So that is what JavaFX platform provides to an application. And JavaFX applications can easily be executed on any device, like it can be run on mobile, desktop, tablet, etc. Let's now talk about the features of Java. So features of Java, when we talk about it, there are a lot of features and functionalities that Java provides, and it's a very powerful language out there. So the first feature that it provides is that it is simple in the terms of C and C++ as we compare it, because here in Java, some of the functionalities have been removed as compared to the other languages, and also few functionalities are being added which was not there in other languages. For example, in Java, we do not have the concept of pointers, which makes it really simple. And also we have some functionalities like memory management and exception handling, which was really not there in C and C++. The second feature is it is object oriented. Though C++ is also object oriented, but Java is also called a purely object oriented programming language because everything you write inside Java is all about classes and objects. So you start your program with the class only, and every function and every object is created in that particular class. So it is called purely object oriented. The third thing is it is platform independent. So what do we mean by that? Let's check this out. So let's suppose I have a program here, and when you compile this program using a Java compiler, so we use actually Java C command to compile the program, and when it is compiled, it is converted into a dot class file, which is actually called bytecode. So this bytecode is really very special as this bytecode can execute on any platform. It can be Windows, Mac, or it can be Linux. So it can run on any kind of platforms. Therefore, it is called platform independent. That means you simply need to write the program once and then you can port it on any platform you want. So there we go. It is also called portable because of this reason only. And the next thing is it is secure. And why it is more secure or why Java is called a secure language? Let's check this out once. So JVM, which is a Java virtual machine that actually helps in compiling the code of Java, it makes sure that your program is not jumping into any unsafe operations. So this functionality is already provided by JVM. And also we have security manager inside it, which is actually inside JVM only. And it makes sure that program doesn't access some of the APIs, which is really not required. So untrusted code will not be able to access your APIs. That is taken care by the security manager. And also we do not have any pointers in Java, as I have already told you before. So there is nothing like we cannot access the memory area if we don't have any pointers. So I can't directly go to the memory location and I can do all kind of unauthorized stuff. So this is one of the reason it is secure. The another reason is that access modifiers. There are a lot of modifiers which are provided which restricts the user to access the data. Like we have public, private, protected, and default. So if you want your code to be safe, you can use private, you can use protected, depending on your code viability. So also we have something called final keyword, which can also be used to protect the data so that nobody can override my data. So we can use this final keyword as well. And the last but not the least is exception handling. So exception handling is very beautifully provided inside Java, and these unhandled errors at runtime could be easily just solved or handled by Java only. So we will be looking about exceptions in part 3 video. So let's see the other features. It is called robust. That means that your application will not wear and tear because it provides so many management techniques. And also it is high performance. High performance because you have the multi-threading system here. That simply means you divide a program. Let's say you have a program here. So this is my program. I can simply split this program into multiple tasks. So this is called multi-threading. Each task is given to a thread and they can execute parallelly. So parallel execution is what makes it high performance and it makes it really fast. And also it is architecture neutral because as we know, the code can be run on any kind of machines. It can run on desktop, on mobiles, any kind of architecture. So these were the main features that you need to know about Java. Now let's see what is actually the internal working of Java program. So let's say we have this Java program that is a simple program in which we are having a class and then we have a main function, and inside it I have written something to print. So we will look at this program in detail in the next part, but right now we'll just look how the processing of this code is taking place in Java. So what happens at compile time? In compile time, your Java code is taken up with the compiler and it is given like in a dot class extension file, which is called the bytecode, as you can see in this diagram. Then what happens at the runtime? So in the runtime, your class file is taken up, which is given to the class loader, which actually loads your class file. It checks out all the classes and all, and then it is actually given to the bytecode verifier, which will check for your bytecodes, whether there is any malicious or any bytecode which should not be accessing your particular memory. So all these kind of stuff will be checked here. And after that, this bytecode will be interpreted by the interpreter, which is provided inside this Java. And after that interpreter is done interpreting the code, it will be given to the runtime, which is a runtime environment, which is on the hardware. So this is how your Java program actually executes. Now let's talk about the most interesting and important topic of Java, that is JDK, JRE, and JVM. So you might get this as an interview question or in your competitive exams as well. Talking about JDK, which is a higher part, and this is called Java Development Kit, which actually contains the tools to develop the Java programs. And the tools may include like compiler, there can be interpreter inside it, like we have Java, Java C, Java stands for the interpreter and Java C stands for compiler. And Java Docs is a document generator in Java and so on. So these are the development tools which are there in JDK, as well as we have something called JRE. That stands for Java Runtime Environment. So we can say that JDK is equals to JRE plus development tools. And we can say JDK is mainly targeted for the Java development. So you can create a file with the help of the packages that you are having, and you can then compile it and execute that. So JDK is responsible for the complete creation or the development of Java. Then comes JRE. Now JRE stands for Java Runtime Environment and it contains JVM. Apart from JVM, it also have Java package classes and the runtime libraries. So it does not contain any development tools like compiler or debugger, but it contains these supporting files which are the runtime libraries and some packages or classes you are using. So actually JVM is responsible for running your program and it uses all these class libraries and various other files which is provided in the JRE. So it is actually using these libraries and the files and it is executing the program. So if you want to run any Java program, you need to have the JRE installed in your system. So we can say that JRE is actually a combination of JVM, then Java package and the runtime libraries. Now, what is actually JVM? So, JVM simply is an abstract, or you can say a virtual machine. So, it stands for Java Virtual Machine. And it is actually, you can't see this machine actually on your system. When you install Java on your system, you can see JDK file and JRE, but you cannot see JVM. That is why it is called virtual, because you can't see that. It is not physically present in your system. So JVM is mainly responsible to read your bytecode, and it will actually provide the environment in which your bytecode can be executed. So JVM is like available for various hardware and software platforms, and it is a kind of platform dependent, and this is really very important to understand that JVM is platform dependent because every platform is having their own configurations, and this makes Java independent of the platform. So it's really important to understand that though JVM is platform dependent, and because of which it makes Java a platform independent language. There is one more thing that you need to remember here is called just-in-time compiler. So JIT is called just-in-time compiler, which is actually a part of JVM, and it performs the optimization of the application. So optimization simply means that it will actually execute some of the code which is similar at the same time. So it actually overall reduces the time taken for the compilation. So that is why it optimizes and it increases the performance of the application. It is also known as dynamic compilation. It uses actually various levels of optimization to provide the performance to your application or to your code. Various disadvantages as well, because JIT uses a lot of cache, and also the functionalities with like the optimization algorithms which are provided here, they are very much complex. Now let's talk about applications of Java. So we can use it for desktop applications, mobile applications, for web applications and all that stuff. So let's see some of the real life areas where we can use Java or where we are using it actually. So the first thing is it is being used in Android applications, and most of the Java developers now they are the Android developers, because in Android also they are using Java for it. So similarly, like we have a Java API, similar we have Android API as well, which is similar to JDK, that is Java Development Kit, which is DVM. So DVM is something which is used for Android to run this API, whereas in Java we have JDK. The next application is financial service industry. As we have already seen that Java is a secure language, so it is actually used in various payment gateways and the applications where a heavy amount of transactions are done. The next application is it is used in web applications, which includes your e-commerce website. So many e-commerce websites are made using Java frameworks like Spring, MVC, then we have Struts, we have other frameworks as well, and also various healthcare, insurance, education, all these kind of websites are also built in Java. So you can see it is all around. And the next thing is software tools. So software tools simply means the IDEs that we are having like NetBeans, Eclipse and IntelliJ IDE. All these integrated development environments, all these tools are actually created using Java only. And with the help of these tools, we are actually coding Java as well. And the next application is big data technologies. So as you know, in the era of Facebook and the social media, Instagram, there is a huge amount of data that we need to handle. So for that, we have various technologies like Hadoop to handle big data, and all these technologies like Hadoop, it is being built in Java only. So you can see Java has expanded its way. The other use of Java is that it is used in embedded systems. Embedded systems like you have security cameras in your home, you have the sensors, you have ATM, you have routers, all contain Java programming. So that's it for this video, guys. This was the part 1 of the Java basics. But don't worry, we have 2 more parts coming up in which we will be digging into the Java a little bit more. If you like the video, please hit the like button and do subscribe to this channel for the upcoming videos on programming and web development. So we'll see you in the next video.